Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to have an exciting afternoon today because if you've ever dreamt of starting your own business and you failed, it's not because you wanted to fail. It's because you did not know how to plan. Because you had never learned how to run a business from me. That's why. And that's a fact. All right, guys, does everybody understand that? Yes or no? Very good. All right, we'll just wait 2 minutes till everybody else joins. We have a lot of students that like to be late. Every week they come in at the last minute, and our numbers should reach about 325 people in the next few minutes, and then we'll make a start. Once again, welcome to BizTalk 125. It's my pleasure to have you as my students today. Let me say hello to some regular faces. Hello, Rosalind. Hello, Salwani. Hello, Chess Melissa. Hi, how are you, young lady? Hello, Choma. Hello, Ria Mate. Hello, Francisco. Nice to see you again, Francisco. Thank you, mate. Good to see you. Hello, Jane. Hello, Elvira. Hello, Savachian. Hello, Lorena. Oh, look who's here. Back to go. Welcome back to BizTalk. Okay, where are all my regular guys? Only one guy here today. Where are all the guys? Hello, Mignette. Hello, Jacob. Nice to see you, Jacob. I finally found you there, Jacob. Good to see another male. Excellent. Okay, I think all the guys are hiding because there's too many beautiful women. All right. I do have to remind you all that switching on your camera is a requirement. Otherwise, you will not get a certificate for attending BizTalk. Your camera must be switched on. It is a mandatory requirement in order for your attendance to be recorded. If your camera is not switched on when my co-host records attendance, you will not, I repeat, you will not get a certificate. Your camera must be switched on for the whole of BizTalk. If you switch it off for 1 minute, you exclude yourself from a certificate. The only people that are allowed to switch off their camera are those who send me a message stating that they're at work. And if I ask you to show me that you're at work, you need to show me on video that you're working. Only with that message will I excuse your attendance. All right? If you do not have your camera on and you do not send that message, you will be treated as absent. Camera must be switched on during the session if you are not at work, and camera must be switched on if you are at work only when we call for attendance. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to BizTalk 125. My name is Wally Rauda. I'm coming to you live from the Republic of Singapore, Malayan City, Singapore. Today, we're going to talk about a very, very important discipline if you want to start your own business. I know many of you in the past have tried to start your own business and have failed. You failed not because you planned to fail. You failed because you did not plan on how to be successful. No one plans to fail, but what they do is they don't plan on doing it properly in order to ensure success. Let's look at today's lesson and let's enjoy today's lesson. One moment. So today, ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about a subject which I'm sure you're very happy to learn because you've all been telling me about this subject for the last 1 or 2 weeks. So what is the subject we're doing today? Just 1 moment, please, guys. 1 moment. Something's gone wrong here. Just let me fix it. Okay, here we go. One moment. Okay. All right. So we're talking today about creating an effective business plan for business success. As you all know, no business can be successful without a business plan. Whether you like it or not, without a business plan, your business will fail. Can anybody tell me here, what is a business plan? Can anyone tell me what is a business plan? Who can put up their hand and tell me what is a business plan? Come on, Malaya, what is a business plan, Malaya? Hi, Malaya, can you hear me? Hello, Malaya, can you hear me? What's a business plan? Okay, Miss Esperanza, tell me, what is a business plan? Hi, Malaya, what's a business plan? You need to unmute your microphone. Hi, are you there? Can you hear me?
Hello.
I can't hear you. Yeah, hi, tell me, what is a business plan?
Yes, hello, good morning from Poland. From my own understanding, a
Yeah.
business plan is a strategy that you are making before starting any business.
You are absolutely right. Thank you very much. Very good effort. Incredible effort. Thank you. Very good, young lady. Very good. Okay, so we just heard one student's perspective on what a business plan is. Can anybody else give me another perspective on what is a business plan? What about you? Shu. Hi, Shi. Can you give me your idea? What is a business plan, young man? Can you unmute your microphone? Yeah, go ahead.
Hello.
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, business plan is about setting goals to achieve a time limit, within a time limit.
That is one of the business plan ideals. Yes, sir, you're on the right track. Thank you. All right, guys, so let's talk about academically and in real business. What is a business plan? Does anybody else have any ideas before I give you the answer? Is the business plan simply an idea of what you want to do? Is the business plan an idea of how much money you need? Is the business plan just a logo? What is a business plan? A business plan is certainly a lot more than all of the above. It's a lot more than the aforementioned. In actual fact, the majority of businesses fail because they don't have a business plan when they started. Let's talk about a business plan. Okay, here we go. So an effective business plan, guys, is a document that sets the process or tells you each stage of starting and managing your own business. This plan will be like a GPS in the car or a GPS on your mobile phone on how to structure and reach a profit in your business. It will teach you step by step how to grow your business, and it'll give you the ideas you need to think of along the way in order to achieve your mission, your vision, and the objective of the business that you're starting. So why do we need a business plan? Well, it's very simple. A business plan will reduce your risk of failure. It will tell you what the real potential of your business is. It will allow you to test your business idea before you invest any money. It will help you attract people that will give you money to start your business, providing you put up a solid business plan. It will allow you to build a better budget and financial forecast so you make sure you've got enough money to open the business. It will allow you to highlight how much money you need the business to have in order to pay salaries and be successful. And it will identify for you what sort of people you need in order to make the business successful. But more importantly, it will help you understand who your market is, where your market is, and what that market really wants from your type of business. So there's two ways or two types of entrepreneurs. There's entrepreneurs who basically want to go into business by copying somebody else's business. And there's some entrepreneurs who are really open and creative about starting their own business. If you want to open a coffee shop because Starbucks sells coffee, you will fail, because the Starbucks brand of coffee you can never copy. You would need to come with a coffee which is better than Starbucks in order to compete with Starbucks. And most people who fail is because they're trying to copy somebody else, and copying is never a road to success. Does everybody understand that? Can you wave your hands, please? All right, so copying somebody else's business ideas is never a road to success. In actual fact, it's the fastest way to becoming bankrupt. Because how are you going to better Starbucks when Starbucks has been in business for years? They roast their own coffee and they have a loyal clientele. So it's better for you to come up with an innovative solution which gives the customer who wants to choose you as their coffee shop a better coffee, something totally different to the Starbucks option, and something that gives the consumer a reason why they should come to your brand. It could be caffeine-free coffee. It could be decaffeinated coffee. It could be cheaper coffee. It could be different flavored coffee, but you have to do something different. And that comes to the different mindset of somebody who's starting a business. There are two different mindsets, and it's really important that you have the correct mindset before you even contemplate preparing a business plan. Okay, here we go. So what are the different mindsets? What are the different mindsets? Let's look at them. The first mindset, ladies and gentlemen, is what we call the fixed mindset. This is a mindset connected to a conviction with attributes that are carved into stone. That means you generate urgency to prove oneself or business, as the case may be, each day, because output is the evidence that you are good enough. Fixed mindset prevails. Failure on a task leads to an individual to doubt his or her own talent and intelligence. I'm stupid. My company won't ever be successful. That's what people who go into business with a fixed mindset end up saying to themselves. Ladies and gentlemen, a fixed mindset is when you think you know everything and you're not prepared to actually have the people who know help you. You decide to be your own strategist. And most of the times, nearly every time, a fixed mindset entrepreneur will fail. Fixed mindset entrepreneurship leads to a desire to look smart and therefore a tendency to avoid challenges, get defensive, come up with ideas that are fruitless, waste money, ignore useful feedback because you think you know everything. And you would feel threatened when somebody tries to help you or become part of your team. A fixed mindset is not the mindset that you should adopt if you're ready to go into business and develop a business plan in the 20th century. The other mindset is what we call a growth mindset. And we're going to talk about a growth mindset shortly. Remember, a fixed mindset is something that you're born with, something that you should avoid. You could reveal lack of skill by not listening to others, and you tend to give up easily because when you believe you know everything and you're too afraid or ashamed to ask others, you take the easy way out and give up. A fixed mindset means that you'll put in a lot of time trying to solve problems that you're not qualified to solve, and it'll mean that you go when you are not good enough to go with. So if you have a fixed mindset, you want to be the boss. You think you know everything, but you don't, and therefore your effort will be wasted and you will fail. When you've got a fixed mindset, you're not prepared to listen to feedback, you're not prepared to take help, and that is negative to a business. And most people with a fixed mindset have a tendency to always blame others for their business failure. A fixed mindset will lead to failure. Don't even waste your time writing a business plan. On the other hand, we have what we call the growth mindset. This is a mindset that comes from hard work and can always improve because they are open-minded. They involve people that can help them achieve their goal. They put in effort that's essential in a path to giving their people or their team the mastery or skills they need, so they, together with their team, can actually achieve the goal. Remember, a growth mindset is somebody that's prepared to listen, not only to his team, but his customers, versus a fixed mindset, which only listens to itself. So, a growth mindset is somebody connected to conviction, that attributes are things you can develop to enhance through dedicated effort, focus, and persistence. With a growth mindset, one's baseline talents and incapacity, as well as relative strengths and weaknesses, represent a starting point for learning and development. So remember, basically, a fixed mindset is you believe you know everything, you avoid challenges, and you get defensive and give up. You don't want to listen to anyone. A growth mindset means you're prepared to listen. And when you have a growth mindset, failure illuminates areas for improvement, is seen as an opportunity for you to embrace. So if you have a growth mindset and you're able to accept that I'm wrong and correct those mistakes with the help of others, that is how you build a successful business. A growth mindset is the ideal mindset that you need to have before you develop a plan. Remember, growth mindset means that you're prepared to open your brain, prepared to open and allow people who know more about the subject to help you and guide you in ensuring that what you're doing is correct. A growth mindset means you're prepared to listen to what needs to be done in order to achieve growth and achieve your goal. All right, so a growth mindset leads to a desire where you want to learn and where you want to get knowledge. And through this, you get to learn more about the industry. You get to face setbacks and resolve them. And when you do that, every time you resolve a problem, you get a more secure level of confidence, and your confidence will grow. And as your confidence will grow, your knowledge will grow, and you will become more independent. But at start, you need to have a growth mindset. All right. Let's talk about COVID-19. During COVID-19, businesses had to actually look for a growth mindset, because otherwise during COVID-19, their business was about to collapse. Hundreds of thousands of businesses did collapse because at that time, their owners had a fixed mindset and they weren't prepared to listen or change. Only the ones that prepared to accept a growth mindset were able to find ways to make their business sustainable during COVID-19 and were able to survive at the end of COVID-19. So some of these elements are the elements that businesses did not have during COVID-19 and ended up seeing their failure. The first one is they were not prepared to reimagine. They were not prepared to look at different ways of delivering their business and becoming more agile for their customers. All right. So they didn't have high performance teams. They had to create high performance teams. They had to be prepared to learn in order to change and become more sustainable and profitable. They needed to reimagine, but they failed to do this. And that's why they failed to survive the COVID-19 downfall, because the business didn't fail. They didn't choose to fail the business. The reason they failed is because they failed to have a plan in place. They failed to see room for change, and they weren't prepared to change. A deeper reimagination of strategic responses using improvisation, agility, is required to be successful in business. So today, before you try to start a business, you make sure you have a strategic response in what sort of business you want to start, improvise, and come up with a business that community or your potential customers need, not something that you're just copying from others. You need to replan. Don't just go and say, I want to open a coffee shop because Starbucks have coffee shops. You need to replan and come up with a brand or a business that's unique, that offers something that Starbucks doesn't offer. You need to lead and manage amid growing concerns of fear that you won't be successful. You need to overcome that fear and put your effort into coming up with a business that's different, that will leave your competitors at a loss because you have tapped into their industry. Replanning rather than copying is a must. Okay, let's go to the next one. You need to reinvent. You want to open a coffee shop. Don't just try to photocopy Starbucks. Reinvent that coffee shop so it offers a type of coffee which is better than Starbucks or differentiates you having something that Starbucks doesn't have. Make sure you put your customer first. Do not worry about how many customers they have. Focus on getting your own customer and focus on controlling the quality of your goods or services to ensure that your goods or services are better than the competition, direct competition, for example, Starbucks, if you're in the coffee business. Okay, you need to also be able to recover. You need to make sure that before you plan to open a business, that you have enough resources, that if you make a mistake and fail, you can recover and keep going. All right, you need to seize opportunities during adversity. You need to be agile. You need to adopt a sensible risk-taking entrepreneurial spirit. You need to nurture and support the right environment for growth, and you need to acquire new mindsets and have the best brains and talent. And if you don't have that, but you have an idea, that's okay, as long as you're able to gather a team that have the right experience to be there and support you. Does everybody understand what I've explained so far about reimagine, redefine a business? Yes or no? Wave your hands to me, please. Does everybody understand it, Maricel? Okay, too many people try to start a business by copying others and they fail. Does everybody understand that? Yes or no? So business success is not about copying others. Business success is about you doing something unique, doing something different, and making it yours. Does everybody understand that? Yes or no? All right, I want everybody to repeat after me. I can. Come on, everybody. I can. I will. Very good. You need to believe that you can. Because if you don't believe in yourself and you have doubts, you will never be able to be successful as an entrepreneur. Developing your own business plan is the first step in your dream to become an entrepreneur. Does everybody understand that? And anybody who tells you you need to have money to start a business is wrong. The only thing you need to start a business is the willpower, the motivation, the desire, and the open mindset to drive you to be successful. Getting investment is easy, providing you know how to do it. Providing you've come up with a business that can outdo your competitors. Providing you have a business plan that shows an investor that you can make money. Don't let anyone ever tell you it's impossible. Nothing in today's world is impossible, providing you have a brain, providing you have hands, providing you can talk, and providing you have a basic understanding of the economics in life and what you need to be successful in life. You can make a business successful. Do not think because you have no money, it's an obstacle. There's plenty of investors out there that have money to drive your business. But what you need is you need to know how to ask for that money. You need to know what it requires in order to sustain the business with that money. And that's why most of you have failed in the past. Does everybody understand that? Yes or no? Wave your hands. Come on. Everyone. Justin, wave your hand, Justin. Justin Cantos, can you wave your hand? Thank you. Vanji, can you wave your hand? Vanji, I didn't see your hand. Very good. Very good. Thank you, Irene. Where are you from, Irene? Say hello to me, Irene. Where are you from, ma'am? Hi, Irene. I can't hear you. Irene Tabin, where are you from? Talk to me. My co-host, could you unmute Miss Irene's microphone, please? Hi, Irene. Can you unmute your microphone? I can't hear you, ma'am. Your microphone is muted. Anu, can you unmute her microphone?
Hello,
Hi, Irene.
sir.
Talk to me.
From
Hi.
Philippines.
Where are you from? What part of the
sir.
Philippines? What part? Are you in Manila?
Bulacan, nearby Manila.
Yeah, okay. And how is the weather in Bulacan today?
Here is very hot, 36 degrees.
Good. And what are you having for
Came
dinner
to-
tonight?
Sorry?
What's for dinner today?
Oh, here, sir, I'm doing my business here. I am selling food business.
Yeah. Okay, so what are you
So
having
we
for
have a
dinner
lot of
tonight?
dinner.
So what are you
I
having
got-
tonight?
I got
Adobo?
beef bulalo.
Beef bunalo, okay. You promise me next time I come to your city, I will come to your shop for dinner. Is that a promise?
Okay, it's my pleasure, sir. I will.
All right, welcome. I hope that today you're going to learn how to develop a business plan so you can take your food business to not 1, 2, 3, but 10 or 12 branches. Would that make you
Wow.
happy?
Yes, I'm very happy and hopefully, sir,
Very good.
I will do it.
Excellent. All right. I can see Rosalind is smiling. Rosalind loves food. Rosalind, where are you from, Rosalind? Hold on, Irene. I think you have a customer. Rosalind, where are you from? Hi, Rosalind. Unmute your microphone, gorgeous. Where are you from?
I'm from Philippines, sir.
Have you tried Miss Irene's food?
Not yet, because I'm just leaving for Taguig, sir.
All right, Irene, I think you better let Rosalind know where your shop is because she's very happy when she heard about the beef. I think she wants to come to your shop for dinner. Would that make you happy, Irene? Okay, all right. Tell me, Rosalind, what's your favorite food?
Adobo chicken.
Chicken adobo. Okay. Well, I think Miss Anu, my colleague, would love the chicken recipe. Her son loves pizza and Kentucky Fried Chicken. So if she could convince him how to eat healthy chicken, adobo with potatoes, my co-host and boss today would be very happy. Am I right, Miss Anu? All right. So maybe one day you could send her the recipe and she will try to cook it for him. Her son is a very fussy eater, like my daughter. They tell us what they want to eat. Were you like that when you were a baby, Rosalind? Were you very fussy? Yes or no?
Yeah.
Good.
Yes, sir.
So I want you all to remember those words, because when you plan to start a business, you must be fussy. Because if you start the wrong business, you will fail. Does everybody understand what I'm saying? Yes or no? Yes or
Yes, sir.
no?
Yes, sir.
Okay, very good. Okay, excellent. Thank you, Rosalind. I'll talk to you again shortly. So, ladies and gentlemen, what I'm trying to say by talking about being fussy, do not start a business for the sake of starting the business. Start a business because you believe that that business can deliver a service or a product that people need. Do you understand that, everyone? Now, consumers tell us that every consumer has a want. Miss Anu has a want. She'd like to own a helicopter so she can fly her son to school every day and be back at her apartment within 2 or 3 minutes. That's something she wants. But does she need it? No. Everybody has a want. Rosalind has a want. She wants a rich boyfriend that owns a diamond factory, so she never has to work, Rosalind. It's a dream, right? Every girl wants that. But does she need a rich boyfriend that has a diamond factory? No. She needs somebody who will love her and make her happy. Am I right, Rosalind? Yes or no? Very good, Rosalind. Don't get shy. It's only a hypothetical answer. Okay? Wally wants to be a billionaire and retire. And Wally would like to drink beer every day. Is that something that I need? No, because I have an 8-year-old daughter and I have to work to put her through medical school, right? So you, as a business founder, have to find something that people not only want, that they will need in order to become your customers. Do you understand that, everyone? Yes or no? All right, I'm going to ask 2 girls to put their hands up very quickly and tell me what is one product that you want, but you cannot find quality product in your city. I'm going to count to 3, and the first 2 girls who put up their hands are going to give me the answer. What are 2 products that you always want, but cannot find in your city? Anyone, go ahead. Who's first? Come on. 2 products. No one? Come on. Okay, Irene, what are 2 products, Irene? Go ahead. Unmute your microphone, Irene. Yeah, what is
Okay,
number
so
1, Irene?
number 1 here, I cannot find here in our area, sir, is there is no Starbucks.
All right, number
There
2?
is no coffee shop. And number
Number 2?
there is no shopping mall.
No shopping mall. Very good. So
Yeah.
Irene needs a shopping mall in her area. If anybody has a few $1 million and wants to build a shopping mall, okay? Irene has 2 wants, but let me ask her, does she need them to run her business? No, she's still running her food business. Would they make her business easier? Yes. But hold on, can she afford to buy groceries at the shopping mall and still make a profit in her business? Probably not. She will still go to the market to buy her raw pork and chicken. She will still go to the wholesale market. So does she really need a shopping mall? No, but she wants one. Do you understand what I mean between a want and a need? Yes or no? Do you understand that, Irene? Like Irene, I come to your stall tonight and I say, Miss Stubborn, I'm hungry. I want adobo. Adobo is what I want. But do I need adobo? No, I need food. Do you understand what I'm saying? So what should Irene do? She should try to convince me that the beef is just as good as beef adobo, if not better, right? But if Irene just says, sorry, no adobo, and I walk away, who failed, me or Irene? Irene failed because she made no attempt to get me as a customer. Do you understand that, Irene? Yes or no? All right, good. So remember, a business strategy has to be a growth strategy where you have an open mindset and you are able to be creative and find a business opportunity that will open doors to products or services that people want in their own mindset. And you need to be able to take them from wanting it to showing them how much they need it. How do you do that? By providing them a quality product, better and differentiated from your competitors at a price that they can afford. Does everybody understand my summary? Yes or no? Can you wave your hands, please? Very, very, very good. I can't see any men waving their hands. Why is it only the girls wave their hands? What is it with you guys? You're shy or what? You're making me look like a silly boy. Wave your hands, guys. Come on, Francisco. That's it. I want to see the boys wave their hands. Good stuff, guys. Now we've got power. All right. Okay, girls, you see we're here today. All right. So let's go back to our lesson. Okay. So what we said here is we need to set priorities and seize opportunities. So when we say seize opportunities, with a growth mindset, you need to nurture support from the right people or people who have experience in the industry you're going into. Let's look at the airline industry. COVID-19 struck the world. Airplanes all over the world went to storage. Philippine Airlines grounded the majority of its fleet. Philippine Airlines put 12 of its aircraft in the graveyard in France, and some of them put some of their aircraft in a graveyard in Perth. Do you know what a graveyard for airplanes is? It's a big, big, big football stadium, and this is where they have security guards with machine guns that protect great big pieces of metal. Each one is worth about $400 million. So during COVID, all the airlines sent all their expensive planes, their heavily guarded graveyards, and parked their aircrafts there and covered the engines with plastic for 2 years. Why did Philippine Airlines? Why did Singapore Airlines? Why did Thai Air? Why did Vietnam Airlines? Why did all these airlines do that? Because when COVID-19 came, they did not have any way of generating business. Customers were no longer allowed to travel. Countries were under lockdown. They had cargo planes, but they had more passenger planes than cargo planes. So they lost money until one airline came up with a smart idea. Listen, Amazon flies thousands of parcels every day. Instead of sitting customers on the chairs, I'll put boxes. I'll fill all the seats in the airplane with boxes and I'll fly it as a cargo plane. Singapore Airlines did that. Thai Airways did that. Philippine Airlines did that. And they were able to make money to pay their bills during COVID-19 to save them going to bankruptcy. So airlines had to reimagine their business. So what happened after COVID-19? People wanted to travel, but the price of air travel was so expensive, they could not afford it. So what did airlines do? They came up with budget airlines. Am I right? Is that right, Jacqueline? Jacqueline with the beautiful pink scarf. Am I correct, Jacqueline? Yes or no? So they came up with budget airlines and said, you can come and travel with me, Jacqueline. You can fly for $50, but all I give you is a chair and a seatbelt. No water, no food, no smile, no television, just a chair and a seatbelt. Come and fly with me. It will only cost you $50. So what did all the cheap airlines do? What did all the big airlines do? They opened discount brands. Singapore Airlines opened Scoot. All right. Air India opened Indigo. Australia opened Jetstar. In Vietnam, they opened Vietjet. All of these were discount carriers, budget carriers that would continue bringing money to the parent airline. Why? Because people were no longer prepared to pay the high price for a 5-star full-service airline. They had to reimagine. So today, if you want to start a business, you cannot copy an existing business. You have to reimagine and come up with new ideas. Does everybody understand that? Yes or no? Okay, let's go on. All right, let's go on. Let's talk about other ideas that have been successful in business. Hold on, guys. What's happening here? Just one moment, please. My screen has locked. Just give me a minute, would you? Give me a minute. Okay, so the airline industry, as we just spoke about, and then we had the warehousing industry, Amazon sending products to people during COVID-19. They found themselves without courier companies. Airlines were limited. Cost of air freight was high. Countries shipping closed down. So Amazon had to open more warehouses in more countries. They didn't have them before COVID-19. Semiconductor industry actually tripled its business because more people started buying computers. Industry needed more semiconductors to manufacture more electronics that people wanted to buy that had a higher demand during COVID-19. The healthcare industry had to reimagine itself. It had to add new beds. It had to come up with innovative ways of treating people online rather than telling them to come to a clinic. The type of healthcare changed. All of these things were about reimagining the business. So now that business has learned from that, you as a business entrepreneur need to make sure that you have reimagined the type of business that you want to start before you invest money in it or before you go looking for money to start a business. Because today, if you want to become an entrepreneur and succeed, you have to be intelligent, resilient. You have to be somebody who's creative and somebody who is ready to outmaneuver uncertainty and outmaneuver their competitors. So today we're talking about business planning. We're talking about planning to start a business. We're not talking about saving a business in crisis that's lost money and bankrupt. We're talking about how to start a new business, how you plan to bring in fresh ideas and start a new business that customers or consumers may find they want and need. An effective business plan should be based on current data. It should include specific information about the business that you want, as well as other details such as the industry, why you want to do it, who is your target audience, what are the services and products you want to bring, and how are you going to sell those, and who has the money to set up this business. Remember what I said to you. Do not tell me I can't, or I won't, or I don't, because you don't have money. Money is easy to get, provided you have an idea which can be successful. Does everybody understand that? Yes or no? Put up your hands if you understand that. So understanding that you need the right idea and the right background and the right target market, money or getting funding from an investor will become much more a likelihood rather than a dream. Does everybody understand that? Yes or no? So the hardest part of starting your business plan is deciding what is the product or service that you want to provide. 2, who are the consumers that you're going to sell to? And 3, why is it that your product or service will be better than your competitors? Everybody write those down. Number 1, what is the product or service that you want to sell? 2, who is your target market or consumer? And 3, what is it about your product or service that makes you better than your competitor? If you run a food business and sell adobo, you have to ask yourself, what makes your adobo better than the shop next door? If I ask Miss Anu's son, why is Kentucky Fried Chicken the best? He will tell me, because I love Kentucky Fried Chicken. And if I say to him, how about we have Red Rooster? Say, no, I don't know that brand. I want KFC. They only make good chicken. All right? Because that's the only brand he knows. It's the only brand of fried chicken he knows. He is a customer, and he will probably never walk away from KFC. So if you copy KFC, he's not going to come to you. What you need to do is offer him a fried chicken that he will hear about being better than KFC, and only then will he probably try you. Does everybody understand that? Yes or no? Do you understand that, Rosalind? Rosalind? I love your headpiece, Rosalind. I think the little ears up there look really cute. Anu, do you like her headpiece? Anu, do you think she looks cute and young today? You look very young, Rosalind. Girls, you see, Rosalind is trying to look very young today. All right? Good stuff. All right. So remember, guys, you need to be creative. You need to show that you are offering something new. Let's go back to my slides. All right. So an effective business plan should be based on current data. It should include specific information about the business, as well as other details such as the industry you want to go into, why, who your target market is, what are your services and products, how are you going to market it, and how are you going to get enough money to start this business. All right, so once we've looked at that, we need to have a vision, we need to have a mission, we need to have objectives, we need to develop a strategy, an approach, and tactics. So if you try to start a business and you only know that you want to open a food business, that is not enough to make it successful. Your vision has to be, I want to open a food business that makes the best adobo in Manila. Why? Because my recipe has something in it that no other adobo shop makes. You have to have objectives about how many branches and how many customers you want to serve. You have to have a strategy on how you're going to make sure that your adobo is the best adobo compared to all your hundreds of competitors in Metro Manila. You need to have a method on how you're going to grow this business. Are you going to be the chef? Are you going to employ chefs? And how are you going to control the quality and the standard to retain the business brand? And last, the tactics that you're going to use to do it. So whether you start at the bottom and work your way up to creating a vision, you cannot actually create a plan without a vision, mission, objectives, strategy, approach, and tactics. So what do we need to create a business plan? Every business plan needs to have an executive summary that tells us what sort of business we're trying to create. It has to have a mission, a background. So when you develop a mission, guys, what are we talking about? We're talking about a vision, a mission, and a mission is why the company exists and what the founders envision. Business aspiration is to become the best adobo fast food chain in Manila. The mission is to serve fresh adobo cooked daily at affordable prices. You need to be able to have a clear background about your company, telling the world why your company is in the adobo business and what makes your adobo special. You need to know the product and have a recipe or a formula on producing that product. You must have tested that product. You must have a plan on where you want to sell it, how you want to sell it. You must have looked at all the competitors in your area and tasted all their adobo and understood how much they sell it for. You must actually do an analysis of your competitors to find out what they're good at and what they're bad at, so you can actually counter those weaknesses and overcome strengths. You need to have a financial plan that will actually show whether you have enough money to set up the restaurant or the food business. So, what we say about developing a business plan is developing a recipe for your business success. Does everybody understand that? Yes or no? Salwani, do you understand what I just said, Salwani? Hi, Salwani. Can you talk to me? Can you unmute your microphone, Salwani? Hi, do you understand what I just said? Salwani, if you put your hand up, it means you want to talk to me. Please don't then just switch off your camera and run away. All right, are you there, Salwani? Go ahead. Would you like to talk to me? Okay, that's fine. All right, who else is there? Does anybody else want to share any input on what I've just said about a business plan? Anybody else? Jane Valdez, do you understand what I've explained so far about a business plan, Jane?
Yes, sir.
Hi, Jane. All right. Okay, do you understand what a business plan is?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. Excellent. All right, so let's go on. So a business plan is the blueprint to starting a business. Does everybody understand that? Yes or no? Come on, wave your hands. Good, let me go on. So in order to start a business plan, we need the creative and the critical ingredients. Just like you need vinegar for adobo, you need salt in everything you cook. In order to create a business plan, you need an executive summary. You need, hold on guys, what is happening today? Here we go. No, it's okay guys, just hold on, will you? Let me just fix this. All right, okay, so you need an executive summary. You need a description of the business. You need to know the markets in which you operate, which countries. You need to actually do an analysis of your competitors. You need to make sure you have the right people in place. You need to make sure that you have the right products or services and the formula or recipe. You need to have a marketing plan, and you certainly need a budget, or you need to know that you have enough money to start the business. These are like salt and pepper that you use in every meal that you cook. All right, so what is the executive summary? This is the very first part of your business plan, and this talks about everything in your business. It talks about what your business is going to do, okay, and why it's going to do it, and what will make your business better than all its competitors. you need to answer 5 questions in your executive summary. Who are you? What is the business you're opening? Why are you opening it? When will you open it? And where will you open it? And you also need to develop a mission statement. A mission statement of what your business intends to do. Think about why you started the business along with where you would like it to be in the future. How will you get there? All of these questions you need to answer in your executive summary. Your mission statement is the start of creating a book, a storybook about the family or the business that you're going to start and the organization that you will live with and work by, and the organization that people who work for you will earn a salary from. Let's look at a sample of an executive summary. Okay, who wants to read for me? Let's find someone to read. Anybody would like to raise their hand and read for me? Okay, Ms. Esperanza, would you like to read the first 2 paragraphs? Go ahead. Can you open your microphone? Go ahead, Ms. Esperanza. Yeah, go ahead.
Pop-Print Post is a sole proprietorship that sells customized greeting cards featuring a pet's unique paw print. And all customers need to do is send in a digital image of their pet's paw. It offers high-end greeting cards to fill a niche in the market, serving pet owners who don't want to mess up a traditionally captured paw print, which usually involves ink or plaster. Paw Print's post ideal customer is a woman who owns a cat or a dog and considers herself a dog mom or a cat mom. Given the importance people in North America place on their pets and that the pet industry generates 100 billion a year globally, there's a market not only for traditional customized cards for major holidays, but also a line of cards recognizing milestones like a pet's adoption or birthday.
Very good. Thank you so much, Esmeralda. Okay, let's go on. It said, given that cards are customized and produced in North America, they're priced as a premium card with volume discounts for larger orders. Paw Print Post will promote its products through a mix of industry trade shows, partnerships, and established pet products and digital advertising. They go on to say, they're still describing their business and their business strategy. They go on to say, Paw Print Post is pre-launch currently. That means they haven't started business, and projects earnings of over $1,000 a month within 3 months of launch. So for the first 3 months, they'll work their way to earn $1,000 a month. The business is run by Jane Matthews, founder, who has extensive experience in the pet industry and formal training as a graphic designer. So here, they're telling us about the business owner and their experience. Then they tell us about the structure, the nature of the business, the industry, and the background of Jane Matthews. Why does she want to start a business? They tell us what her objectives are and about the team of people that are going to help her. So now that you've done the executive summary, the next part is a very brief description of the business. In this part, you need to tell us what are the products and services you will offer to your customers. You will need to provide an overview of those products or services and tell us why your products or services will be something that your consumers will want. Is it because they're better than your competitors? How are they better? And what research have you done to prove this? All right, so the market the business will operate in. You need to tell us in the business plan, what is the market that you're going to sell your product in? Is it online? Is it offline? Is it brick and mortar? Is it local? Is it international? Is it in only your village, or where? How well do you know the market? Do you understand the 5 elements of customer centricity in that market? Do you understand the customer? Do you understand what the customer is looking for in your product or service? Do you understand the price the customer is prepared to pay? Do you understand the level of service that customer expects? And are you sure that the market you have chosen is big enough for you to make a profit? Remember, you need to understand who is your typical customer and how much can they afford to spend. That is called being price-centric. And last but not least, you have to show that the product you have is better than your competitors and it's got something that the consumer wants, but the competitor can't offer: creativity and innovation. So when you are writing your business plan, this is the time that you have to do your research. You have to put your idea to the test and put yourself in your future customer's shoes. What do we mean by that? Does everybody remember what we mean by that? What do we mean by that? It means we have to answer the 5 C's of customer centricity. Is that right? Does everybody remember those? Yes or no? Who can tell me what's the first one? Come on, what's the first one? Justin, can you tell me what is the first C? Are you there, Justin? Justin, are you there?
Yes, sir. Good.
What's the first C? Are you there? What
Again,
is the
sir?
first C? What is it? I just said them. What is the first C of being customer-centric?
Critical ingredients.
Okay, you need to listen, Justin. I just explained that in order to be successful in business, you must be able to answer the 5 C's of customer centricity. Do you all understand that, everyone? As we've learned before, the 5 C's. Number 1 is you need to put yourself in your customer's shoes and understand who they are, where they're from, and how much money they make. All right? Number 1. Number 2, you have to be product-centric. You have to put yourself in your customer's shoes and ask yourself, what sort of product do I need? Why do I need it? What do I want in this product that makes it better than the other products in the market? Number 3, you have to put yourself in your customer's shoes and be price-centric. You have to ask yourself as the customer, how much am I prepared to spend on this product out of my disposable income every week or every month? Number 4, you have to ask yourself, what sort of service do I as a customer want when I buy this product? Do I want it delivered the same day? Do I want to buy it online? Or do I want to go to a shop and buy it? And last but not least, you have to be market-centric. You have to put yourself in that market and ask yourself, if I only sell my product in Manila, can I make a profit? Or do I need to put my product on an international market through e-commerce? Does everybody understand the 5 C's of centricity? Yes or no? Wave your hands, please. Come on, wave your hands. Jacqueline? Irene? Wave your hands. Come on. Maribel? Gay? Okay, very good. So, if you identify the 5 C's of customer centricity and you put yourselves in the customer's shoes, that is when you've done your research before you finalize your business plan. Does everybody understand that? Yes or no? Very good. All right, so remember, you need to put yourself in your customer's shoes, all right? Put your ideas to the test. Put yourself in your future customer's shoes. This is a must. There is no option about this if you want to succeed. All right. You need to do a competitor analysis. You need to look at your competitors, find out what they're doing, how they're doing it, and how you can be better than them. So a competitor analysis means that you have to have the details of your product and you have to know who are your competitors that produce a similar product. You need to actually compare their prices. You need to look at their social media strategy, and you need to look at the type of customers they have, what the feedback there is online from their customers, what their customers like about their product and what they don't like. Now, there's one type of analysis you should all do before you start a business, and we call this the SWOT analysis. But before we do that, the best way to do this is to come up with a list of all the companies that will be your competitors. Write what you know about them already. Write down who their customers are. Write down how much they charge for their product. Write down which of their products that you're interested in competing with, and then try to find out how your version will be better than theirs. What will be your competitive advantage? And then you need to come up with a list called the competitor advantage list. You need to actually write down all your competitors. Okay, so what I'm saying is you need to write down at least 2 competitors. I would do this to at least 2. 1, 2. And then you need to go and answer all these questions. Who are their target customers? Okay, what is the product or services that you're going to compete with? How do they usually market their product? Do they have online marketing strategy? Is it powerful or not? And what are they doing that you need to do better with? What are their strengths? What are their weaknesses? And what do you think they're doing in order to be competitive? And this eventually will tell you what you're going to do to actually beat them. So their weaknesses will become your competitive advantage. So you need to understand what theirs is, but based on their weaknesses, you'll be able to come up with better and stronger competitor advantages. As I said, you need to have at least 3 competitors. You need to analyze a minimum of 3 competitors. Now, once you've got this list, you then need to do what we call a SWOT analysis. This time, you need to actually start asking questions about each competitor. So you need to do a SWOT analysis on competitor 1, then on competitor 2, and then on competitor 3. Okay, so what you need to do is you need to ask yourself, for example, what are their strengths? What are their weaknesses? What are the opportunities they have in the market? And what threats will they cause your business, if any? All right, so let's talk about it. You should do the SWOT on your competitors first, and then you should do the SWOT on your product to see if your product is better than your competitors. So let's talk about it. When you ask about strengths, you have to ask, what are the resources you have? What are the resources for competitor 1, competitor 2, competitor 3? What are obstacles to growth? Okay, what are the obstacles facing you as a company to grow? What is your competitor doing better than you that you have to do better with? Or what are the threats your competitor faces which you can actually resolve? What are your weaknesses, or what are your competitors' weaknesses? What do you lack in your product? What are your vulnerabilities? What are the weaknesses of the competitor and your product? And what processes can you improve in delivering your product or service? Or what weaknesses are there in your competitors' products? And what are the opportunities? Your opportunities are things that you discover as weaknesses for your competitors. All right. So if we look at some of the questions that you can ask, for example, what are the core competencies of your competitor? What are things that make your competitor unique? What strategies is your competitor using to sell his or her product? Here are a simple list of questions that you need to ask in order to identify strengths and set of questions you need to focus on in order to identify weaknesses. Okay, so the strengths could be the product is locally made, the brand has many repeat customers, and they have a great website and search engine for people to order from. The weaknesses could be the prices are too high, or customers don't like going all the way to the shop, it's too far, or it's too troublesome. Opportunities could be that their website doesn't exist, that customers are looking for the same business with a website. The customer wants to be able to order, have the product delivered, and pay online, which your competitor doesn't have. Opportunities. The threats. It could be that you have more than one competitor. It could be that there is a multinational competitor in China that is selling their product in your market, and you could never deliver the product at a low price like the big factory in China, because you have to buy from China, so your price will always be higher than theirs. Okay, and if you have to buy from China, but the US dollar becomes so expensive, then the threat is that by the time you bring the product to your country, it'll be too expensive to sell. These are all questions that you have to ask. All right, so now that we've looked at the product, we've looked at the market, we've asked ourselves how much is the customer prepared to pay. We need to start looking at us as an organization. You need to ask yourself, can I run the business alone, or do I need people to help me? Where is the lady with the food business? Hello, Irene. Do you have people working for you, Irene? Talk to me, Irene.
Yes, sir.
You have-
Hello.
How many people work in your business, Irene?
For now, I have only one working with me here on my food business, sir.
All
But
right,
I
so
also
you're the
have
boss
other
and you have one
business.
helper. Okay, good, excellent. So Irene
Yes.
plans to grow her business one day, so she has 5 or 6 branches and 10 staff. Is that right, Irene?
Yes, sir.
She wants to become the big boss. She goes, she
Yeah.
takes the recipe, she talks to her customers, and then goes shopping with all the money she's making. She wants to become a food queen, right, Irene? Yes or no?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Good on you. I'm proud of you, Irene. Okay, so
Thank you.
remember, now that you have the strategy, you know your competitor, you need to talk about who are the people that are going to make this business successful. Because if you're writing a business plan and you say, I'm going to cook French cuisine, but you don't have a French chef, your business will fail. You understand that? You need to make sure you understand who are the people you need to have to make your business plan successful. And you need to write, I need an engineer because, I need a chef because. You need to justify the people that you need. And you need to do this. So if you're going to the bank or an investor to give you money, so he knows you will have the right people to be able to make money. Do you understand that, everyone? Yes or no? All right, so you need to actually identify the people that you need. and you need to identify why you need these people, all right? Not only the people you need, but why you need them. What are the skills you need? What are the responsibilities you need? How many people do you need to manage the business as it grows? Okay, you also need to understand whether the company is going to be a sole proprietorship, a private company that is exposed to liabilities and can eventually, if it fails, drive you bankrupt, or is it going to be a company with limited liability to minimize the risk on you as a sole entrepreneur? Now, is it recommended that you start as a sole proprietor? If you're using your own money, yes. If you want to borrow money from an investor, usually they'll require either a partnership or a company, private limited, with yourself and them as a director. And it's very important to make sure this is a limited liability partnership or limited liability business. So not only do you need to know what people you need to actually put in your business plan what sort of business model you're going to use. And remember, when you do this, you have to be clear on whether you're going to be the king strategist, know-it-all, strong and independent chief executive, having a clear vision of where you want to take the organization, all right, and not allowing people to help you and putting yourself at risk of losing touch with the rest of the organization because you don't allow people to give you feedback or help you. Being a king is good if you have a reliable team under you. But when you start a new business, the king strategist is wrong. The servant strategist favors a participative or demographic approach, strategizing instead of defining the strategy. The strength is that you're strong in creating harmony. Your weaknesses is because you're still not sharing it with anyone. You're a servant. All right? So basically, what is the best strategy to use? What is the best strategy to use? Let's look at them. If we look at the king strategist, you're strong and independent. If we look at the servant strategist, you are favoritive, participative, and democratic. So when I talk about the servant strategist, it favors participating. You're going to actually have people help you. Democratic. That means you're going to allow people to help you strategize. Instead of defining the strategy yourself, you will actually hear what other people that know about the business suggest for your organization. So when you start a business, this is definitely a strategy that you would want to consider. Now, there is a weakness here because you sometimes don't share your own vision and let others do this. You may easily be seen as weak or indecisive. So remember, even if you use a servant strategy, you still have to be seen as the one listening to ideas and making decisions. But instead of being the king strategist who makes all the decisions and sets the strategy yourself and being stubborn and risking failure, you need to actually allow other people to give you input so you make sure you're on the right track, especially when it's your first time in business. All right, so a servant strategist works with a bottom-up approach. Remember, a bottom-up approach. This is the strategy that takes you from the bottom up, where the top-down approach is the king strategist who doesn't listen to anyone and just gives orders, right? This guy is top-down. This guy gives orders. He doesn't listen to anyone. But if we look at the bottoms-up strategy, where you listen to people and have them guide you to climb up, you have a much better chance of success. All right, so the top-up strategy, top-down strategy, top-down approach, jobs are altered and completed based on management. Employees receive specific tasks Tasks are delegated by upper management. So here, basically one man is running the show, whether he knows the business or not, and there's a very big chance of failure. All right? Now, I don't suggest this approach unless you've run the same type of business and made billions many times. The ideal approach for any new business is to make sure you identify the right people, the people that have the experience and the knowledge to help you make it successful. You ask their input, you listen to them, and you work as a team and collaborate in order to deliver the business and become profitable. Okay, so let's go on. You also need to develop products or services that are offered, and you need to document what they are and how you need to deliver those. So, for example, if you're going to source the product from a factory, who has intellectual property? Is it your design that the factory is producing for you, or are you just producing something that you found available in China and you're going to sell it? Because remember, if you're buying something that's already made by somebody else and it's made in China, you have to find out whether they have license to make it or they're making it illegally. Because if you're selling an illegal copy, you could end up being sued for copyright breaches. So you have to be able to say in your business plan, what is your product? Who will manufacture it? Where will you buy it from? And if this product is a branded product, you have to show that I'm buying it from a supplier who is licensed to supply it. You have to identify your marketing strategy. You have to know how you're going to brand your company. You have to know what are the key messages that your customers want to hear about your product so they come and try your product or service. And you want to know how will you achieve market share and at what cost in terms of your budget. You need to have an estimate of how much money you're going to spend on social media marketing and marketing to build your brand and put it out there for consumers to recognize. But last but not least, you have to have a financial plan. Guys, can I ask you, do you think a business plan can be successful without a financial plan? Put your hands up, yes or no? If you say yes, put your hand up. A business plan with no financial plan? No. A business plan with a financial plan, but no money? Yes, because you can borrow money or get money. But every business needs a financial plan. Do you understand that, everyone? Yes or no? Put your hands up, yes or no? Very good. Nadi, do you understand what I'm saying, Nadi? Okay, all right. Okay, let's go back to my lesson. All right, so remember a financial plan. So you need to create a financial plan that will address your financial concerns. It'll talk about how much money you need to start up the business, what are the projected costs, and it will allow you to show this financial business plan and financial projections to your investor. You'll need to list how much your startup will cost, everything from stationery to rent to kitchen equipment, and you need to make sure that you show the cost of setup, how much product will be sold for, how many pieces you need to sell to be profitable, etc. Okay, let's go on. So the first part of your financials has to be an income statement. This is where you show your revenue minus your expenses and your projected profit or loss. Remember, if you're starting a new business, all of these will be projections. Your income or P&L statement must list the following. You must list the cost of goods that you're going to manufacture or cost of sale. You must show the margin that you're going to make, what your operating expenses will be, what your estimated revenues are, and then you have to show your earnings before interest on loans, any tax or depreciation or amortization that you will incur. Now, if you're first time in business and you don't know what that is and you need help with this, it's very easy. You let me know, or you ask anybody in accounting in your business, in your country. Okay, but the most important things that you need to show initially in your business plan are these: cost of the goods, gross margin, operating expenses, and what your revenue streams are. And basically, you need to do this and project it for at least, if you're going for a business plan, you should come up with projections for the first 2 years, if not 3 years. Usually, 2 years is a minimum. You need to show a cash flow statement. This is one of the most critical financial statements for startups that summarize how much cash you need to have on hand when you start, how much you'll have to spend over a given time when you start the business, and how much cash you'll need until the business becomes profitable. So your cash flow projection consists of cash revenue projection, cash expenditure projection, and cash flow reconciliation. So you have to say how much revenue you project, how much expenditure you project, what is the balance, etc. You must come up with a projection for at least 2 years. Your company's cash flow projections can be crucial because if you're asking someone to invest in your business, they will look for these, and this will give them peace of mind that you understand what your business is all about. You need to have a balance sheet, and the balance sheet can be based on projections, and you need to have this for the first 2 years. The statement consists of 3 parts: your projected assets, liabilities, and the balance calculated by the difference between your assets and liabilities. The final numbers in this balance sheet, even though it's a projection, will project how much equity you will hold in the business to show that the business will have financial viability. The balance sheet follow the following accounting equation: assets equals liabilities plus owner's equity. All right, remember, this is a critical element of your business plan because it will help you solidify to investors that will be able to understand what sort of business you're going to run, how you're going to run it, what are your products and services, and justify for them whether you're feasible or whether you are equitable or whether you are investable. You need to show in your financial plan whether you can break even or not. So what do we mean by break even? You need to show whether the company will earn enough to cover its costs and break even, or will earn more than break even. Anything over the break even point will become profit. Now, if you're going to break even for the first year and only generate a profit in the second year, that will give the investor peace of mind. But if you project loss in the first year and loss in the second year, then it's unlikely that any investor will invest in you. Remember, you must be aware of your fixed and variable costs to accurately determine how much your startup will make and at what point it will break even. Remember, it's a no-brainer. If you can show in your business plan that you can break even from day one and make a profit after 6 or 12 months, you have a much better chance of getting financial support from an investor. Today, you will get an Excel sheet so you can prepare your own balance sheet. Now, this balance sheet or the projections will ask you to come up with a balance sheet, a profit and loss statement, a cash flow, and a cash flow statement. All right. And this Excel sheet has got formulas in it. So what you should do is try to fill it in for the business you want to run and save it. And once you've done that, you can email it back to me and I can check it for you. Now, today is only lesson 1 in creating a business plan. In the coming weeks, in 2 weeks, you will be invited to creating or developing a business plan number 2, in which I will teach you how to build your financial projections. Does everybody understand that? So I will take you through this Excel sheet and I will teach you how to build your financial projections. Does everybody understand that? Yes or no? All right. So what should you do today? Where is my co-host? Where's my boss? Are you there, boss? Boss, can you send the PowerPoint and the Excel sheet to everybody now in the group chat? Everybody, go to the group chat. Make sure you download today's lesson material and Excel sheet. Do it now, please. Go ahead. Okay. You're going to get 2 links, not 1. Can we send the second link, please? Okay, so please download both links. One link is for the PowerPoint material. Second link is for the Excel sheet. All right, did everybody get those? Yes or no? Come on, I want to see 386 hands. Wave now. Let's go, everyone. All right, good, excellent. Miss Esperanza, why are you so quiet? Why aren't you waving your hand, Miss Esperanza? How can you start a business if you don't wave your hand? Good girl. What about you, Rosalind? Why aren't you waving your hand? What about you, Manilyn? Why aren't you waving your hand? Does everybody understand that? Yes or no? All right. Does anybody have any questions so far? All right, let me go on. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, when you start a business, ask yourself, are you a king? Are you a servant? Are you an elder, a prince, or a joker? My advice is focus on this word. Focus on the word where you participate and listen to other people. And then, if you think this is not suitable for you, then consider the others. All right? But let me tell you, when you start a business for the first time, this is definitely something that you want to do because the servant is participating. He listens to others. He works with others. Does everybody understand that? Okay, so let me close this and let me answer any questions you have. Does anybody have any questions for me today? Come on, don't be shy. Wow, guys, you make me do all the teaching and no one wants to talk to me. See, they're being very mean to me today, Anu. Last time they were all talking to me. Today, no one. Okay, go ahead, Irene. Yes, Irene.
Hello, sir. I am not still familiar with the SWOT. Can you please elaborate what is the SWOT? SWOT, sir?
SWOT, you mean? SWOT.
Yes, sir.
Okay, SWOT stands for
Analysis.
strength. It stands for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Okay? So with SWOT, you're looking at what are your competitors' strengths, what are your competitors' weaknesses, what opportunities is your competitor creating for you, and what threats do you face from other competitors? You follow that, Irene?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
So for example, Irene, let me make it easier for you. If you serve fried chicken at your stall and you specialize in fried chicken, you have to do a SWOT against the fried chicken shop down the road. Now, whether that is, Jollibee, or whether it's KFC, you have to compare your fried chicken to theirs. Okay? So what is the strength of their fried chicken? It's tasty, it's juicy, the brand is well known, they have promotions. Strengths. What are their weaknesses? They're expensive. It costs $40 to serve the family. The portion is small. What are the opportunities? Provide good quality fried chicken at cheaper prices with a Filipino taste. What are the threats? Well, KFC is much bigger than me. If I undercut them, they'll undercut me and put me out of business. So I need to offer something better than KFC so they can't put me out of business. What are the other threats? Do I have a supplier that is going to supply me fresh chicken, which will be a better quality chicken than the one KFC has? Because if I don't have a supplier, that's a threat. If KFC has a contract with all the big chicken farms in Philippines and no chicken farm is prepared to supply you chicken, that's a threat, because you would then have to import your chicken from Brazil and it would be frozen. And that means the quality of the final product you serve your customer would be substandard to KFC and you would not be able to compete with them. Do you understand what I'm saying, Irene? So
Yes,
you
sir.
have to look at each competitor individually. Ask yourself, what are their strengths? What are their weaknesses? What opportunities do they create for my product? And what threats do they cause me? Now, Irene, in your business, you have to do this to more than one. You probably have 20 other food shops in your area. So you would have to look at each of them and each of their menus separately and then analyze all their menus before you decide on yours.
Yes.
Do you understand how difficult that is, Irene? Do you understand
Yes,
how
I
much
do.
homework you have to do? So I suggest
Yes.
you get busy. I suggest you start and message me every time you do one so I can guide you or help you, okay?
Thank you.
You're welcome. Does anybody else want to ask Wally a question? Come on, talk to me, guys. Any boys want to ask Wally a question? All the boys have gone to sleep to me today. No, they haven't. Oh, well, here we go. Who have I got? No, I haven't. I've got Kusanta. Hi, Kusanta. Go ahead. Yes, Kusanta, open your microphone.
Am I audible po?
Yes, you are. Very good evening, ma'am. How can I help you today?
How about the Excel you already sent us, sir? Do we need to answer it and then send it to your email after?
What's this? The balance sheet? The financial? I can't hear you, Kusanta. Can you talk to me, Kusanta? What was your question? No, Kusanta, the balance sheet that I sent to you is only for you to practice on. You don't need to send it to me. In the next few weeks, when I teach you how to build a financial projection, then I will give you homework and you will send it back to me. Does that answer your question, Kusanta? Very good. Alvin George, so good to see you, Alvin. Say hello to me, young man. Hi, Alvin. I can't hear you, Alvin. You're silent. Anu, could you message Mr. Alvin George? I can't hear him, ma'am. Yeah, go ahead,
Can you hear me
Alvin.
now?
Yes, go ahead, sir. Good evening.
All right, sir. Regarding this financial balance sheet, as we're going to try to make our own business plan, it's just like a projection, not really an actual computation.
No, it's an actual projection because it's for a business that you haven't started yet. It's a projection.
So how am I going to make it more effective, sir? In a way that I'm trying to make it already in my own, but the way I see it in the chart is like quite confusing me. Would you mind to help me?
Well, it's not confusing at all. So what you need to do is go through your assets and liabilities and project how much your assets are going to cost you and whether you'll have any liabilities. All right. You have to project that first. Okay.
All
So
right.
what you need to do is open the model that I sent you and try to fill in all the numbers that you see as relevant. What is your rent going to be? What are your fixed expenses? What are your variable expenses? What is your rent? What are your salaries? How many salaries are you going to pay? What is the product you're going to produce? What is the cost of producing that product? What margins are you going to add to it? Then you need to project your income and expenditure in the first year. Then you need to go through a cash flow. Because when you start building the balance sheet first, Alvin, with this Excel sheet, it will automatically copy figures into other parts of the sheet, right? So what I suggest you do is go through it from the start, from the first tab, and build the numbers and let the balance sheet actually drive you through the rest of it, all right? And I would actually show you how to do it now, Alvin, but it's a 2-hour lesson. So the idea is for you to play with it, and it's probably not next week, the week after, when we do actual business planning number 2, the whole lesson will be about how to fill that in and where to focus on and how to get your estimates. Will that help you, Alvin? Yes or no? I can't hear you, mate. All right. But Alvin, listen carefully. The easiest way to learn anything in business is to learn the hard way. All right. You understand that to me, mate? So the more successful you become is when you learn how to drive that Excel sheet. What I've done to you, Alvin, is I've given you a pre-programmed Excel sheet with all the pages you need. If you start at the first tab, as you fill that in, it will automatically populate the rest of it for you, okay? So I've given you the magic key to doing it. But what I want to do is I don't want to tell you now how to do it. I want you to play with it by yourself. And during the next lesson, we will start with a blank sheet and I will tell you how to fill it in. Does everybody understand that? Yes or no? And with every figure we fill in, I'll explain why and how you made that estimate. Does that answer your question, Alvin?
Certainly, sir.
Thank you, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, does anybody else have any questions? And Alvin asked a great question, and let me answer him. Alvin is serious about starting his own business. And any potential entrepreneur who asks me that question is showing me he's going to be the next Steve Jobs in business, because that's exactly the way that Steve Jobs started. Steve Jobs, ladies and gentlemen, was a failure. He failed. He got thrown out of the company he started. He got fired. He was terminated. He was asked to leave. Steve Jobs went home and cried to his father, like Alvin was just sooking to me. His father told him, stop crying, find a way and make them want you. Steve Jobs went to his garage. He called his mate Wazza and his mate Tim Cook. He said, I failed. They said, no, you haven't. What we've done is started a journey where we're going to learn together. Ladies and gentlemen, Jobs and his friends started 4 companies in 2 years. Those 4 companies were sold for an undisclosed sum, somewhere in excess of $400 million US, $4 billion. Steve Jobs was actually bought to go back to Apple and run Apple. They did not employ Steve Jobs. The only way Steve Jobs would go back is they had to buy him and buy the 4 companies. Did Steve Jobs fail? Oh yeah, he failed to start with. But at the end of the day, he won. Do you know why? Did you tell them why, Alvin? Why did Steve Jobs win? Come on, Alvin, switch on your microphone, young man. Don't make me sad. Open your microphone. Why did Steve Jobs succeed? I can't hear you, Alvin.
Can you hear me now, sir?
Yeah, why did Steve Jobs succeed?
Because he never stopped.
He never gave up. Good man. Steve Jobs persevered till the end. He never said no. He never said hard. He never said I can't. He said, I will learn. I can. I believe in myself. I am Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs lived to be the greatest techno entrepreneur in the last 20th century. In the last 20th century and in the 21st century, no one has outdone one of the greatest techno entrepreneurs that were ever born on the face of Earth, Steve Jobs. And it is likely that it will take another 10 centuries before we see someone else. All right? Because no one else has proven it. Facebook cannot match him. The guy at Lazada cannot match him. No one can match him. They all look up to the king, Jobs, the greatest techno entrepreneur that was born with a vision. He was born with a vision that was in his mind, like the one that Alvin has. And the only thing he did is he learned himself. He locked himself in a garage with 3 of his friends, and over 2 years, they learned what they didn't know. They developed the iPad or the Mac computer as you know it today. They developed the Mac Air, which is the next generation of the Macintosh computer that they developed. And they developed iOS, the language, which you guys know in your iPhone. For without those 3 men who learned it from nothing, there would be no iPhone today. Does everybody understand that?